Hey guys, what's up? It's the Merc here from Bullshit Games with a late night review. It's a What's in the Box video. I might look a little tired. The lighting, I don't think right now is the best it could be. You'll probably notice that this is not my dorm room, and this is not our office. This is the kitchen of my house, because, like I said, this is like 1:30 in the morning, and I'm doing this video because I promise you guys 2 videos a week. You're getting 2 videos a week, even if it means after work. We did have originally another playthrough video, but due to my current technology situation, which is I record videos on my laptop, put them on my thumb drive, and upload them from my desktop, I couldn't do that this week because the playthrough video we had recorded was 0.2 gigabytes too big for my thumb drive. I know, it's ridiculous. I should have just decided to get the like 20 or 30 gig thumb drive to begin with, but I didn't. Anyway, this is What's in the Box. I haven't done one of these in a while, and this time it's for Spartan Games, Dystopian Wars, and it is the Federated States of America. First thing, it's a Spartan Games box. I'm sorry for the glare. You'll notice it's a Spartan Games box. It's pretty high quality. You get a nice, unlike the Dystopian Legions, Dystopian Wars, you have a nice picture of the painted miniatures on a like ocean mat, like ocean terrain table. Pretty cool. The back is kind of old-timey looking. It tells you basically what you get, which is 2 of the A-17 bombers, 10 of the small flyers, 9 frigates, 3 cruisers, and a battleship. Which, I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't learned the names of my ships yet. I know I should have before doing this, but I figured cruiser, battleship, frigate was a big enough of a difference. I also have a special item I'm going to talk about after I talk about what's in the box, because I got a little something extra for the fleet, just because I wanted to try it out. So I'm going to, we'll open the box. I've already opened this. It's not the first time opening. So we'll talk about what you get in the box. These are empty. But like most of Spartan Games starter sets, this is what the ships came in. The frigates were in one, the cruisers were in another, and the battleship was in one all by itself. You get a baggie. Now this had the turrets and all the templates in it. I've taken the turrets and the templates out. Some of the generators out, I mean. The generators left in here are the shield and kinetic generators, which you can see right there. That big one's a shield generator, and then that big one is a kinetic generator. They're for the battleships. The smaller ones are for your cruisers. You get one of each for your cruisers and one of each for your battleship. Pretty cool. I thought, it's nice they give you all the options right out of the gate in the box. The next thing you get is the stat cards, which I guess now we can go over the names of the ships. If I seem a little goofy, I apologize, but I've not slept well the past 2 nights for some reason, and like I said, I just got off of work, and it's like 1:30 in the morning. You get your Independence class battleship. This is what a stat card looks like. You have hull points, damage rating, critical rating, what your broadside damage dice are, your turret damage dice. You have Lexington class cruiser, Augusta class frigates, A-17 class bombers. The special thing I was talking about is I bought the fleet carrier because to me it screams kind of like World War II steampunk, and I really wanted to see what flyers could do, so I was like, I'm going to get the carrier for my faction. So I got the Saratoga fleet carrier, and then because I bought the starter set comes with a stat card for tiny flyer tokens. The Saratoga comes with a stat card for tiny flyer tokens. And I bought the blister of 30 tiny flyer tokens, which I'll never need tiny flyer tokens again. But that also came with a stat card for tiny flyer tokens. So I have 3 tiny flyer token stat cards. The nice thing about the stat cards is it's everything you need to know about your ship in one place. Like I said, you have all your stats right here on the front. And then if you turn it over, it tells you, like it's a large capital ship, it tells you what model assigned rules it has, tells you what your turrets' line of fire are and everything like that. I mean, it's one thing I give Spartan. Their stat cards and things like that are just very impressive. I like the quality of their stuff. I kind of wish in Dystopian Legions they'd give you nice little stat cards like this for the units, like they do here for Dystopian Wars. But minor gripe, little gripe, and every stat and rule for Dystopian Legions is free to download from their website. So, potato, I guess. And then you get all the templates you could need for the game, which I'm going to hold them like this to reduce glare. You get your large turning template, medium turning template, small turning template, and 45-degree turning template, which I don't know what the 45-degree turning template is for yet. I have not read the entire rulebook, thinking it might be for flyers like my A-17 bombers. And you also get tokens. Lots of tokens, like hull point damage, assault point damage, different critical effects, because there is a critical hit chart in this game that tells you what happens to your ships. And you also get 3 2-inch Sturgium tokens and a mine explosion template, all of which is very nice. You also get a little advertisement card, which is kind of cool. It shows you about Uncharted Seas, Firestorm, modded Dystopian Wars, and then Battle Foam has a thing on the back, which they didn't used to do this, so it's kind of nice they're telling people we have other games. My only gripe with the templates and the tokens is in Uncharted Seas for like the starter fleets, because the Lich Lord and I, we're big into Uncharted Seas. We have like every starter fleet. Spartan for a while in the starter sets for that game had given you perforated templates that you could pop out. You didn't have to cut them out. And these you have to cut out, which it's just me being lazy and not good with scissors. But I prefer the ones that you can just punch out. Again, just some little minor gripe that's not ultra important, but it might be important to you if you're thinking about getting a starter set and getting into the game. So I'll throw that out there. That is the kind of non-spectacular part of the starter set, so I'll get into kind of the meat and potatoes. First, let me say, sometimes in this hobby, you get gifts. And by gifts, I mean quality control for a company makes a mistake. And this can be a curse sometimes, too. Sometimes you might not get everything you're supposed to get. And when I opened this starter set, I was a little bit worried initially that I might not have gotten everything I was supposed to get, because I opened my bag of frigates, which, for the Federated States, this is the Augusta-class frigate. You can see it has a turret on the front, turret on the back, the bridge, and paddle wheels, because that's the Federated States thing. They do paddle wheels. I think these ships are really cool. I'm not going to lie to you. But when I opened the bag of these, instead of getting 9, I got 10, which means I'm going to be able to run a full squadron of 4 and then 2 squadrons of 3. That was pretty neat, but I kind of panicked initially because I was like, oh god, I got an extra frigate. Maybe I didn't get all my cruisers or all my bombers. But that wasn't the case. So like I said, every once in a while, fate, luck, whatever you want to call it, Farkle the dice god, smiles upon you and you get a gift. And my gift was an extra Augusta-class cruiser. You can see the detail is pretty good. I don't know if you can see inside the paddle wheel. Yeah, you can. You can see like the little paddles in the wheel. Like I said, the detail on these, the resin, they're like a white resin, is just fantastic. Next is the cruiser, the Lexington class. These are also pretty nice models. I think all these models are fantastic. Now, the cool thing about these, you can see the paddle wheels, is they have a turret here, which is a metal pewter turret, and you don't have to glue that in. There's a little knob; it fits pretty nice. And then you have generators for your bigger ships in the games. Right now, I have plunked on here the rocket battery, which is your standard. It gives you a little extra range damage. But you can get the kinetic generator, which the kinetic generator gives you +2 inches to your movement, or you can get a shield generator, which gives you dice to try to avoid certain attacks. You can see the 2 turrets on the back there, all the smokestacks. It's very... the FSA ships put me in mind of Civil War ironclads, like the Monitor and the Merrimack. I hope it was the Merrimack. If not, I'm sorry, but I know the Monitor was the Union one. And that's, I think, aside from the fact that they're my force in Dystopian Legions, I think that was kind of what drew me to the FSA in Dystopian Wars. Lastly, we have the battleship, which is a fantastic model. Let me get it in camera here. I mean, you can just see all the gun turrets. You can see the pewter turrets that I've dropped in. You can see the detail, I think, is phenomenal on this. You can see this one has a big rocket battery, which you can plunk off, and again, shield generator or kinetic generator. There's 2 turrets, and like I said, I just think they're phenomenal ships. I think Spartan did a really good job. This is about the size of like an Uncharted Seas battleship, so it's basically what I'm used to from Spartan games. I guess I'll talk about like Flash. Like I said, these are resin models, so sometimes like in here where the paddle wheel meets the boat and things like that, you'll get a little bit of like flash. But you know what's awesome? It's so brittle you can just break it off with your fingers. You don't really have to use a knife or anything like that. The downside of that is I haven't noticed it with these ships, but some of my Dystopian Wars ships, like the Orcs ships, and granted these were the first run. I know Spartan have released new starter sets, but some of the first run of my Uncharted Seas starters, like really thin pieces, were a little brittle and they would snap if you weren't careful when you were like handling them. Now, I have painted a lot of my Uncharted Seas ships, and I didn't need to clean them. Like, I know some people say you should clean resin before you paint it. I didn't find that I needed to. The paint hasn't really chipped off of them too bad, except for the Dragon Lords whose sails like to fall off, because Spartan games, I love you, but put a little slot for the sail to fit in the Dragon Lord ships, and I think they go together a lot better. Anyway, there's still a couple more things here from the starter set. Like, you get a lot in a starter set. I think it's like $40-some, like $45 or $47. But like I said, you get 3 squadrons of frigates, you get a squadron of 3 cruisers, you get a battleship, you get 2 of your faction's bomber. For the Americans, it's the A-17, which is an interesting looking little plane. I mean, I don't... Oh Lord. Wow, yeah, tired. But I don't really know what I would compare this to. It's kind of like a P-38 Lightning Bolt mixed with a PBY Catalina. Hopefully I didn't get those names horribly wrong. I might have. It's been a long time since I looked at my World War II stuff. But I think they're really cool. They're neat. They're kind of the blandest of the models, which is understandable. They're bombers. It's a plane that drops bombs. You can't do a lot with it, but I think it fits into the Victorian kind of steampunk World War I, World War II setting. So I'm I'm happy with these. The other thing I'll say is Lich Lord and I also jumped into Firestorm Armada in its first generation, and that game left a bad taste in my mouth with Spartan and flying stands. Because Spartan's flying stands didn't quite fit into the holes in the ships, and it was a nightmare. However, you get your 2 flying stands for the A-17s or whatever bombers in your faction, and these fit really well. They're actually a little loose, so I'm going to have to glue them onto their flight stands, but that's fine. So, I have no problems with that. Spartan games, I think they're really stepping up the production and the quality of their models the longer they've been around. Like I said, I'm happy that I kind of got involved with Spartan games on the base level where it was Uncharted Seas had first come out, and it was like, I want a naval game, and the Lich Lord was like, yeah, it sounds awesome. So we got those. That's what you get in the starter set. Like I said, hold on. I would be lying if I didn't I can get them open and not send them flying everywhere. I would be lying if I didn't show you. Let me show you the box first. This is the box I bought. It is 30 tiny flyer tokens. However, there's actually 46 in here because I've put the 10 I got with my starter set and the 6 I got with my fleet carrier in here. I don't think I'm ever going to have to buy tiny flyer tokens for my faction again. I hope not. If I need more than 46, I'm doing something very wrong. Or I'm playing a tiny flyer game. You get 10 of these in the starter set. And they're tiny flyer tokens. They represent fighters, dive bombers, recon planes, torpedo bombers, and I think that's it. Fighters, dive bombers, torpedo bombers, recon planes. But, I think these are going to play a big part in the game, so I kind of felt it was important to get enough to run them properly. Like I said, you get 10 in the starter set, which is a good number. You think they run in squadrons of 5. So that gives you enough to run like 2 squadrons of fighter planes, dive bombers, torpedo bombers. Recon planes run in 1 by themselves, so you can't really... you can do that. You could run that, but then you wouldn't be running the 2 full squadrons of your planes. But that... tiny flyer tokens. This was $10, and I don't think I'm ever going to have to buy tiny flyer tokens again, which is awesome. Now, I want to talk to you about the other thing that I bought with this group of stuff, and that is the Saratoga Fleet Carrier. Now, let me explain something to you about some of the models and a little bit of my apprehension when it came to this game. First, I'll show you. It's a double-decker, so the top comes off. You have all that nice, cool detail in there. Plus, you have the detailed top piece. So I give Spartan Games a lot of credit because I think that's pretty cool. It fits right in. You don't have to glue it or anything. So during your game, you can pluck it out. You can put it on, and it makes for easy painting. So kudos to Spartan Games for that. It's huge. I was blown away by just how big it is. It's like a little bit bigger than an attack bike, but for a Navy game, to me that was pretty awesome. Now, speaking of the Saratoga and its size, I'm going to talk to you about some of the reservations I initially had with Dystopian Wars. I was used to Uncharted Seas prices, which Uncharted Seas prices were relatively cheap. Battleships, carriers, like heavy cruisers, they're all usually under $20. At least when I first got into it. When I started looking at Dystopian Wars, some of the things like my Saratoga and like some of the sky fortresses, like the big blimps and things, were like $25 or $30, and I was like, whoa, why is it so much money? I didn't realize how big these things were. Like I said, this is a good size. This is, I think, $23.99. So it's $24 for this, which I guess that might be expensive to some people, but to me, for something I might only purchase 1 or 2 of, it wasn't that big of a deal. But I've been onto Spartan Games forum. I've looked at painted pictures of some of their other ships, and like the airships, one of the Prussian airships I've seen a picture of, it's huge, it's massive. The Savannah Sky Fortress, I think that's what it's called for the Americans. Again, it's a huge model. They're so much bigger than I initially thought, because like I said, I was used to Uncharted Seas ship sizes, which they're not as big, but ships in this game, they're big from pictures that I've seen. They're really big. And to me, I don't mind paying a little bit more for something that's a good, hefty size. Now, the Saratoga did not come. It did not come in the starter set. I want to stress that. It did not. I bought it extra because I wanted an aircraft carrier. Big fan of the Battle of Midway. I thought maybe I'll get 2 of these, do a carrier group. It'd be kind of cool. I don't know if they're any good in the game, but hey, I got them. This comes with 6 tiny flyer tokens, which brought my total to 46. And I'm glad I got it. It's a cool ship. I look forward to painting it up. But because this is what's in the box, I'm going to give you my overall feelings of, was the FSA Fleet starter set worth it? Now, I know Spartan is putting out support flotillas and assault flotillas, I think, for all of the factions, which I think the support flotilla comes with like a carrier and escorts and destroyers, and the assault flotilla comes with like a dreadnought and gunboats, and you know, it's cool things, and it's all nice one package, so I'll probably pick those up at some point, and I'll do another what's in the box for it. But just this starter, to get you into the game, get you started, I think it's fantastic. Like I said, I paid, I think, $45, at most $50. And you get a battleship, you get 3 cruisers, you get 3 squadrons of frigates, you get 2 bombers, you get 10 tiny flyer tokens, you get all the templates you need to play, you get a bunch of tokens to play, you get all the stat cards for your faction you need to play. The only thing you need to buy outside of this is the rulebook, and you're set to go. I think the models are great. I think it's a great value for what you're paying. I also think that they're going to be fun ships to paint, and I look forward to getting a game of this in, because I know the rules are going to be a bit like Uncharted Seas, because Spartan doesn't like to change things up too much, which I like. You know, I'm familiar with Uncharted Seas. Now all I have to do is learn the nuances of Dystopian Wars, and boom, I'm ready to go. I'm good to game. At some point, I'll probably be getting a Republic of France starter fleet as well, or if the Lich Lord decides he wants to do that, I might get the Russian Coalition starter fleet. And I'm going to try to get these painted up for you guys. But that is my review of... threw that at myself. Did you see that? That is my review of Dystopian Wars, Federated States of America starter fleet, and Saratoga fleet carrier, and the little box of 30 tiny flyer tokens. Overall, I give it 2 thumbs up. I think it's a great deal. Like I said, I'm going to buy another starter fleet at some point, and I'm going to look into their flotilla deals that they're doing, because I think Spartan really gives you quality for what you're paying. I think they understand that they're a miniatures company. They understand that their customers are in this to play games, their games, and I think that they kind of give you a good value for the money you give them when it comes to gaming. So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully, if you were thinking about jumping into Dystopian Wars with a starter fleet, this will give you some idea of whether or not it's a good idea. And hopefully maybe you think it is a good idea and you get into the game, because I think it's going to be a really fun game. And I know it's really taking off. I know it's big at Historicon, I guess, from what some of the guys in my gaming group have told me. And hopefully maybe it'll be big at maybe it'll be big at the War Store weekend in November, which I believe the Lich Lord and myself are going to go to. Last thing I want to say before I go is this week coming up, the Lich Lord and myself may not be putting videos up because we have a friend coming in from out of town, and it's kind of like our vacation week. We're going to try to get you guys some kind of videos up, but I'm not making promises because it might not happen, and I don't want to promise you guys something that won't happen. So, if you don't see us this upcoming week, we're on vacation. We didn't die or get abducted by the Inquisition for not playing Games Workshop games. But I'm going to go. I'm going to get a glass of tea and probably go to bed. Hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, please leave a comment, or even better, subscribe. We did get 20 subscribers, so I'm working on the bloopers video like I promised everybody. And I'll see you next time here on Poolshed Games.